It's Amanda from UnHinged Magazine, and we are here with Charming Liars. Charming Liars, their evolution began in London's West End while still in their teens, and they both came from homes with wide range and eclectic musical tastes, and that early exposure sort of formed their approach to making music. So they started writing and playing together in a series of bands and honed their musicianship with several tours up and down the UK. So in 2013, they decided to make the move to LA, in part spurred on by an encouraging social media message from songwriter and producer John Feldman. You know, the dude, Panic at the Disco, Plain White Tees, Blink 182. I'm a 90s girl, so Blink 182, like, yes, absolutely. So he told them to look him up for a songwriting session if they were ever in town. Since then, they have built a following with constant touring, have played across the entire US as well as South America, Mexico, the UK, and Brazil. The band just released a brand new single titled Blame. It's a little poppy, but it's upbeat, and it's sure to get you moving. So Blame is the latest from the Charming Liars, and we're here with Carnegie. So tell us a little bit about Blame. What's behind that one?
Yeah, Blame is a song we actually wrote for our debut album, which came out last year. But it didn't. We thought it didn't really fit because a lot of the album was much more dark in themes and sounds and production. So it didn't really fit. We just kept it in our sort of library. And then when we started this new cycle and we have this new library of music, it found a place in there. So we a couple of months ago we thought, you know what, let's add it to the 2020 cycle and let's release it. And we just re-recorded all of the vocals on it. Completely redid all the vocals but kept everything else. So it's a song that is half recorded a couple of years ago and half recorded 2 months ago.
So how did you come up with the name?
The name Charming Liars, there's not really a fancy story. When we first moved here, we were in a bar, and obviously we're British.
Cheers.
And and we were trying to get out of paying the bill of our bar tab, and as people do, they try and put on accents sometimes. Well, the waitress thought that we were joking around and pretending to be English, and she called us a bunch of charming liars.
Aww.
So, but we didn't know at the time, but that was just, it was like, it spurred us on. So after a million different band name options and discussions, we sort of, that came to our minds. We were like, you know what, that'll be fine. That'll work. And if we become a really popular band, it'll be a great name. If we fail and we suck, then it'll be a crap name. So
no, but it works. And it's actually the fact that it actually has a story, because I've asked people that before, they're like, I don't know, it sounded cool. So at least you have a story to it. So that makes it so much better.
Yeah.
So what was the toughest part about bringing the band together to what it is now? What was the biggest hurdle or frustration through that process?
There was not one. It's continuous number of hurdles. We're still trying to get to a point where we can sell out our own shows, So for us, it's like we're continuously playing and touring with other bands and supporting big bands, and we're trying to get our songs on Spotify and Apple Music playlists that are pretty much filled with a lot of these massive bands. And it's like we're constantly trying to get in front of people's eyes and ears, and so there isn't just one struggle. Everything's a struggle, really.
Right. That makes sense. And that's something else that we do. So in case nobody knew, Spotify UnHinged has a page, and anybody we interview or feature, we put their music on there. So you know what type of stuff we listen to. So make sure you go and find these guys and several hundreds more amazing musicians to go check out. Yeah. So what is the biggest compliment that a fan could ever give you?
Oh, that's interesting. I think the biggest compliment is that they were moved by our song. I mean, we hear that that's probably the thing that we hear the most, but it could be in any way, and that's what's great about it. It's like it's people say that it moved them literally, like they wanted to dance and they felt great about listening to it. Some people say the lyrical content moved them. Some people say a whole mix of things, but as long as it moves them and it affects them in a positive way, I think that's probably the best thing we can hear.
I know that you said that you've opened a lot for other bands and stuff to get out there and promote and everything. But if you
Yeah.
had a dream tour, what band would you absolutely love to open for? Or just be on stage with in general?
I think a band like Coldplay would be cool. Coldplay would be cool to open for, just because they're a massive band. And we love Coldplay, and they have incredible songs, and the live show is like massive. But I think probably realistically, if there's something that we could ever like reach to, is probably like a band like My Chemical Romance or something. You know,
Oh yeah.
it's a band that has like incredible fan base, very diehard fan base, great songs, and uh, big shows as well, playing to tens of thousands of people. So I think My Chemical Romance probably like it ticks all the boxes.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, that one's a good one. Another one that the you talk about the fan base. It's almost like where it comes from. The word fan is fanatic, but there's a difference nowadays between having a fan and having a fanatic. And
yeah, yeah,
they have fanatics. I mean, they eat, breathe, sleep. I mean, everything. The band.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and that is amazing. I think that's kind of gone to the wayside over the years, and which is kind of depressing. So a
I
group
mean,
that can,
it depends on the band. I think we were just touring with this band called Palais Royal, and Palais Royal have um, a lot of young fans at their shows, and they're very, very diehard for their fanatics for this band. So now we have quite a lot of their fans who are fanatical about our band, which is really cool. Um,
yeah,
and that's kind of the reason, one of the reasons why I wanted to play with them. So we've done tours where it's more general uh, public sort of fans, like Angels and Airwaves, who obviously is Tom DeLonge from Blink 182. We toured with them, and that was like a lot of Blink 182 fans and a lot of Tom DeLonge fans. But they're a bit older, and they're less fanatical. It's more, it's more about seeing Tom. And then we've done tours with bands like Palais Royal, who are completely fanatical about the band themselves. So you can see the difference in the crowds when you're playing the shows. But it's obviously enjoyable doing both, playing with Angels and Airwaves and playing with Palais Royal.
gotcha. If it wasn't for music, um, what would your dream job? What would that have been?
Oh, probably something to do with restaurants or food or something.
Oh, I'm a foodie.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
am a
It's,
foodie. I make some dishes. I call it.
I'm not necessarily like a good cook, but I love eating. So something to do with, I don't know. Maybe I'd
Food
work in a
critic.
restaurant. Maybe I'd work in a kitchen or manage a restaurant or something. Something to do with restaurants or food.
Mm,
That's probably what I would. And maybe I'll still go there.
yes.
Maybe that's still my destiny.
Oh, yes. Well,
Yeah,
that's cool. So you've been out on tour with different bands and stuff and out on
yeah.
the road. So what is the first thing that you do when you get home from being on tour for so long?
I think all of us in the band, and I think most bands, they just kind of decompress and do nothing. The
I hear
first
sleep
thing,
a lot. They're like, "We'll just
yeah,
sleep."
it's like, yeah, a lot of these cliche things about sleeping, but actually it's true. It's like it's just decompress, relax, probably turn on the TV, um, catch up on bits and pieces, but literally it's nothing. You know,
Right.
the
But what
energy of
is
being
your
on the
favorite
road.
thing about being on tour?
Favorite thing about being on tour obviously is playing. For us, it's like, for me personally, is the best part is obviously being on stage, and then for the 30 minutes or an hour, whatever it is, and then being in a new city or a city that we've been to a couple times on the road, and finding, like I said before, like a restaurant that we all love. And so if we have a day off before a good city show, like let's say a day off before Denver or a day off before Seattle, we'll get there the night before and we'll explore and maybe find a cool restaurant, a cool food spot that night. And then that way we wake up in Seattle and we have a whole day there before the show, which maybe happens once every 10 days, because a lot of time we're just arriving to the cities, a couple hours before we have to head to the venue.
Right.
So that's the best part, on being on stage and probably eating. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything that you would like to shout out to the fans, just in
Oh,
general?
well, we firstly rescheduled our European shows that were cancelled to August. So they've been rescheduled to August. So for whoever sees this, we're excited to hopefully get back to Europe in August. We're just praying every day that the situation sort of kind of goes a bit like this in terms of the curve, you know, and that way shows can get started again. And there's millions of people in the music industry, in the music business, who literally in the space of a couple of weeks just had nothing. All their tours are canceled. Of course, it's like that in a lot of businesses. A lot of people with jobs all around the world are in that same situation. But we're in the music business, so we see it with a magnifying glass in that specific business. So to all the people who are watching, I guess we just want to say that we're excited to get back down there, and that we're going to be putting out music every month. So we'll put out a song and a video every month, and you know, for the rest of the year, which is our plan anyway. But I think now, because everyone's home and people aren't as busy as they were planning to be, I think now is the best time to put out music more than ever, you know? So that's pretty much it.
Standing outside your doorway, drunk and lonely. A swollen jaw, busted lip, cigarette in between. I never once liked the taste, just wanted you to talk to me. I thought it was worth a shot, you always had a thing for James Dean. Our hearts were so